Well, this summer I think of the Olympics and the European Championships.
Oh, well, it's got to be, for me, the Grand Prix.
The Olympics.
The Olympics.
My summer holiday.
And then the tennis.
And the Jubilee.
Euro 2012.
Olympics, yeah, Euros.
The Olympics.
And there is the Olympics.
Olympics. And all the events leading up to that.
I think the Queen's doing some better.
Jubilee.
It's the Olympic that I can think of.
My goal is that by the end of this video, if you're asked what's happening this summer, July 2012, your answer will be the final negotiations for the Arms Trade Treaty.
So the Arms Trade Treaty is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to really change how the unregulated global trade in arms operates. At the moment, you've got national systems and some regional systems, but nothing that looks globally at how the trade works. There are more regulations on dinosaur bones, bananas and postage stamps than there are on international weapons transfers right now.
نحن طلعنا اجت القذيفة ما بعرف وين. اجت القذيفة انا وقعت. بس ابن عمي ضل صحيان.
وانتي؟
بعدها ما بعرف شو صار. بعد شوي حسيت على حالي إن هون بالدار. بس.
So in July last year, a group of survivor activists from around the world got together in New York and participated in the discussions there. From a disability rights lawyer from Albania, who was shot in her spine when she was 14 years old and left paralyzed, to an American survivor of the Virginia Tech shootings, they came together to make sure the delegates in the room did not forget why they really are there. They issued a survivor declaration, which called on states to take their role in the process seriously and develop an instrument that will have concrete effects on the people suffering because of poorly regulated weapons trade. These survivor advocates were eloquent, persuasive, and they spoke with conviction about the potential that the treaty has in changing the reality of armed violence in the world. For them, there is not an ounce of doubt that this treaty is one of a humanitarian nature. And these voices need to be heard in the room full of diplomats and military experts who talk about licensing, end-user certificates, and so on, which can cause them to put out of their minds the fact that ultimately it is about the humans, not about the paperwork.
I know of Amnesty International, yes, and that they, I don't know, the police the world is the right word, but obviously they try and make sure that everyone's treated with fairness in the world.
Worthy cause.
Great organisation, yeah.
It's like everything, if they weren't there, things would be a lot worse for a lot of people.
Important word, there's no doubt about that. Have made an impact.
Irresponsible arms transfers prolong conflict, cause poverty, and destabilise regions.
I think it's a brilliant thing, and I'm really glad Amnesty's working on it. And I really, really hope that we can get the British government delivering on what they say.
It's a long campaign, lots and lots of organisations have been working for a strong, robust arms trade treaty, and now's the time to really, really push for it. It could be a treaty that really, really saves lives, like one of those kind of game changers. But if we get it wrong, then it won't. It could actually set the clock back. So I think now is the time to really push for it.
I think it's a really important thing. I have a very vivid memory of going to the United Nations building, and they have a panel there which says that the amount of money that the world spends on arms in one day is enough money to actually solve the problem of poverty.
You may be thinking, I'm just one person, what can I realistically do? But as Amnesty's success stories have proven, individuals constantly make a difference, and you can be one of them.
And he was forced to fight as a child soldier. A global arms treaty, he said to us, will give children the chance to have a normal childhood. I thank you in advance for the campaigning and lobbying we will do together over the coming months. Together, we are powerful.
the childish view maybe that everything should be just, and that when you're very young you see things and you say that's not fair, and your adults, your teachers, your parents all tell you that, well, life isn't fair. But Amnesty is an organisation that says, well, life should be fair and we can make it fair if we work together.
It's a way of doing something about human rights for the people who are suffering at the hands of dictatorships.
So what can you do? You can write to your MP, you can tweet and tell your friends about it, spread the word, raise awareness, or you can write a message directly to David Cameron, telling him that we want a bulletproof arms trade treaty.
Is the Labour Party conference of 2004. I and my fellow civil society colleagues were in The Hague with a joint EU NGO government meeting on arms control. And in the morning, the UK negotiating team at that conference were under instructions to argue against the ATT. Then, over the lunchtime, Jack Straw, the then Foreign Secretary, announced at the Labour Party conference that the UK government would now fully support the treaty. In the afternoon session, the UK government team came back into the room with kind of ATT badges on, ATT t-shirts, saying, come on guys, the ATT, let's go for it. So what we saw was a complete, actual, in-conference arms trade treaty U-turn in a matter of a number of hours. Now the reason why that story is important is because that wouldn't have happened without a significant number of people in this room campaigning tirelessly for the treaty, and by that I mean the work of our local youth and student groups, individual actions, the trade union networks. It was that that forced the UK government to so dramatically change its mind, and since that moment the UK has become one of the strongest champions on the world stage for the treaty.
كيفها؟ تعرف؟ كيفها؟
كان عم يسوي كم يسوي مظاهرات ويروح يسوي يروح باب طيب.
اقتلوا اللي ما بخافوا الله. القناصة ظلما وعدوان. هو ماشي بالشارع راح يجيب أخته من الشارع تلقوه.
85% of all killings documented by Amnesty involve guns.
I would hope it's less than that. 7 billion, it's got to be less than that.
2 bullets are produced each year for every person on this planet.
It's disgusting, to be honest. You know, if things weren't so easily moved around from country to country and things were more closely regulated, we'd probably have a lot less problems, sort of even in the UK rather than just internationally as well.
I think there's too many guns and bullets in the world anyway, so you can't legislate enough against them, I think.
It's ridiculous really, isn't it? That's the best answer I can give to you, to be honest with you. The fact that something like that is in place is silly.
Control it better. Stop anyone and anyone getting out of guns. It would solve a lot of the problems in the world.
Armed violence costs Africa $19 billion a year. This is roughly equal to the amount they receive in aid.
I'd just like to remind us that Amnesty researchers helped identify US shipments of tear gas into Egypt in 2010, and we even helped trace some canisters supplied by the UK in 1998. Empty canisters on the streets of Cairo bearing the address of a company in Salisbury. 1998 is a long time ago, but I think it shows you how the wrong decision to export weapons can reap consequences many decades later.
Well, I think we've got a once-in-a-generation opportunity to negotiate, to at least make a start, to start stripping away some of these awful monstrosities that happen in the world, and I think now is the time to put the pressure on, right now.
If there is any chance for arms to be misused, this treaty must make sure they are not transferred to that end user. Without a comprehensive scope of weapons, strong criteria, the treaty will not close off the possibilities for human rights abusers to get a hold of weapons. Without strong implementation mechanisms and transparent monitoring, you won't be able to prevent the unacceptable harm which is caused by civilians because of the poorly regulated trade. And without recognizing the rights of victims and committing states to assist in their recovery, the treaty will fall short of its potential to affect change in the lives of those who have already fallen victim to armed violence. So when states come to the negotiations in July, they must not water down the treaty to the point of uselessness. It is our hope, and I believe I can speak on behalf of the survivors and victims I know and I work with, that the UK government will hold its ground and be the leader it has been in this process, keeping in mind that they are there representing, among others, those who are victimized by armed violence. We can't compromise on human life.
Stand up and get behind it, please.
A really golden opportunity to make a big difference to potentially millions of people around the world. And it's important this treaty is a really strong treaty.
David Cameron. As one of the world's largest arms exporters, it's imperative that you make a strong statement in support of a bulletproof arms trade treaty. We're counting on you.
Why are you messing around, David Cameron? Get it signed, support it wholeheartedly, and let's get a change. Let's help save innocent lives that are ruined due to unfair trading of arms.
Do the right thing, Dave. You have an opportunity to lead on an issue that has been at the heart of civil society movements around the world for 20 years now. It's crunch time, and if the UK shows decisive leadership and really fights for a strong human rights provision in this treaty, it will change the world. One person every minute dies from arms and armed conflict. We can change that with better regulation.
In July 2012, we all have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to create a bulletproof arms trade treaty that will save lives.
I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside.